Yo, what is going on? This is your boy, ThatGuyFace with Face the Music Media. We are back again for another episode of How I Synth. In this video, this is part 2 of the Sweet Fusion walkthrough series for Composition 6. In this video, we'll be going over the drum bus and then the master chain. Let's get into it. Oh, yeah. Oh, mama. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. And if you haven't seen the first video, go ahead and go check out the first video. It goes over the presets and how I process them, what I use. So go ahead and go watch part 1 if you have not seen that already. But before we get into that, if you like the content, go ahead and hit thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you can be notified every time we drop a video. We'll be going through more and more of these compositions through some of the presets and how I process them to get the most out of them. So, and make sure you go to realloops.com to get the preset pack. That's ReelLoops. We got over 200 presets in this pack. Get over to realloops.com, cop the preset pack. I'll be going over some of the presets so you can pull it up and you can use the synth if you like the sound. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. For the drum bus, I literally only have one plugin. I want to keep it simple for this one. I have the UAD FaircChild, and basically all it's doing is gluing the drums together a little bit and then creating a little bit of a pump as well. And then I backed off of the mix so that you can hear some of the pump, but then you still hear the dry drums as well. So the initialized patch for the FaircChild, usually the threshold is about 2. And so I took it up a little bit more to get that pump. And then I took the time constant to 2. The first one is the fastest release, slowest attack. And number 2 here has a slightly slower release than the first one. So I wanted that pump action. I wanted to kind of have that suction feel to it. And then I took here the sidechain filter to kind of remove some of the subbiness so it wouldn't have as much suction, so it wouldn't be totally obvious that you're creating that sound, because then it just starts to sound kind of bad. And then I boosted the output to compensate for the gain reduction. So let's go ahead and take a listen to that. So as you can see, it just has a slight pump. If you're not even paying attention, you might miss it. But when I bypass the FaircChild, everything gets louder. So when I activate the plugin, everything tightens up and you can hear that suction. It's just a subtle pump. It's not too much going on. So yeah, I love that. Now let's go ahead and break down the master. So with the mastering process, I'm gonna try to keep this simple. I have the shadow hills here. And when you listen back to the master, so as you can see, there's barely any compression going on here, just a slight bit of glue on the ends of the transient. So it's not really doing that much, just getting the flavor of the shadow hills, which I love. Next up, we have the Manley Massive Passive. Let's take a listen to that, because the Manley Massive Passive, that thing is massive. I ain't even gonna lie. You can make it go crazy or you can keep it subtle, but let's take a listen to the difference so you can hear what it's doing. So it's not even really doing that much. It's just slightly making it a little bit brighter and adding some thump to that kick. So let's go ahead and move to the next one. We have the UAD Precision Maximizer here. And even with this one as well, we boosted the input just a little bit because the input on this creates a nice little bit of knock. We took the shape up to 50%, bands on 3, limit on, and then the mix is at about 70%. And we backed off of the output to compensate for the gain. And so let's listen to that before and after. So as you can see, it really does help shape the sound. It just brings everything out just a little bit, not too much. Let's go ahead and move on to the next. I have the FaircChild 670. And basically with the FaircChild, I literally just want the coloration for the most part. So I took the time constant to 1. I left all of these alone, and then I brought the side chain filter up to about 50%. That way it's totally removing the bottom end. And then I reduced the mix to about 50%. That way you're not getting as much compression, even though it's not that much going on. So let's take a listen. So as you can see, it's just slightly gluing everything together. It's not too much going on. So let's go ahead and move to the next. We have the Oxford Inflator. That's just a sonic enhancer. It just enhances the frequency slightly. And so it's going to brighten it up and thicken everything up just a little bit. So let's take a listen to that. So as you can see, it is an exciter. Like, it really does excite the frequencies, I feel like. And the only thing I did on that was boosted it to about 39%. And then I left the curve how it was. If you boost it, it goes brighter. If you bring it down, it's duller and adds more saturation. So I left it in the middle so it can have a little bit of brightness, a little bit of saturation. Next, we have the AMEK EQ200. On this one, I am not even using the EQ at all. I'm only using the mono maker. And so that takes everything from 85 hertz and below and puts it right down the middle. And then I have the stereo width, and that's at 110%. So it's just 10% over, which means it's only spreading things out just a little bit. So let's take a listen to that. So you see how everything just slightly opens up when I activate the plugin. But if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it because it's so subtle. But anyway, let's go on to the next. Now, I do have 2 tape plugins here. I already know some of you guys are probably going to go crazy. Like, why would you have 2 tape plugins? So let me explain. The first one, I usually do not do this, by the way. Usually I'll have 2 of them here and I'll go back and forth between one of the IK Multimedia tape plugins. They have so many. And then I'll go through and I'll compare it against the Ampex. On this one, for some reason, I accidentally activated both of them and it sounded so good, I kept both of them. But the first one, I'm barely doing anything. I just boost the input slightly for a little bit of drive. I boosted the high EQ, both of those, and the low for a little bit of bump. And then I reduce the output to compensate. And then on the UAD tape, I left it in the initialized patch, and then I just boosted the record slightly. Other than that, that's all that's going on there. Let's take a listen to those with and without and see what they sound like. So as you can see, the tape really brings it home and brings it to life. And it just is the perfect little way to end your chain. It's subtle, but you can feel it. You feel that thump when you turn on those tapes. And then to end everything off, I have the L2 and I have it set to 3.4 on the threshold. The ceiling I left as it is. I usually go to about 2. I don't know why I didn't this time, but let's go ahead and take a listen with the L2 and without. Beautiful. I love it. The L2 is not just a limiter in my opinion. It does add some coloration. I don't know what it's doing, but when I compare it to other limiters, I definitely could tell the difference with the L2. It definitely adds something. But anyway, man, that's the end of the chain. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Leave a comment below. What are your go-to chains and what are some of your favorite plugins that you like to use for your drum bus and your master bus? Leave a comment below. Let me know. Let's get the conversation going. And so that's the end of this series. We'll be covering another composition coming up here shortly, so stay tuned for that. Hit the thumbs up if you like the content. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you will be notified when we drop our next video. You don't want to miss it. And also go to realloops.com, REELLOOPS, and cop the Sweet Fusion preset pack. All the sounds in this composition were featured in that pack, so you want to go and check that out. There's other demos there too as well. And matter of fact, go listen to the demos and come back and let me know which one you want me to cover next. So go to realloops.com, cop the preset pack, come back and watch the video, and you can use the same chain that I use, or you can mock my chain and use some of your favorite plugins in place of what I use and kind of see what you come up with, man. Either way, let me know the end result and down in the comments below. This is ThatGuyFace, Face to Music Media. We out of here. Peace.